working and thinking about those numbers, you go, gosh, we're going to make another generation of homeless here if we don't fix this.
Yeah.
And the absolute coolest thing going on in Sarasota is the improvement side on family and children. Wayne and I have talked a lot about this. We know we're going to have a system, a really well-run system in place with family and children. I think it could be as early as this summer. I'm totally in. And the system that existed just 12 months ago versus now is tremendously better. Again, largely the leadership of Gulf Coast Foundation, but it is really already improving. I mean, you're already seeing some great success there. Are we there? No. Do we have more work to do? Yes. But I think we're going to get there. And I think really the family side may become one of the best national models. I've already started talking about what we're doing to 2 other counties in Florida that we're not there yet, but let's assume we get to where, and I think we're where the arms reach in a lot of these, and once we get there, I really think this is going to be a national center on how you handle families and children. You've gone from one of the worst sets of numbers with family and children to maybe one of the best systems to address that. And to me, the measurements I look on family and children are, A, you want all homeless, you want that to go away if you can. B, when you do go homeless, when you do go in crisis, you don't miss more than 1 day of school. And then you don't want anybody ever to be in a car. Right. And so those are sort of 3 really good simple metrics. I try not to make my metrics very complicated. You either graduate from the street, you don't graduate the street. I really don't care about outputs. A lot of agencies want to tell you, I served 2,800 meals last week and gave away this many toothbrushes and this many hygiene kits. That's all. Those are tools. Those should not be measured. What really needs to be measured is how many people do we have? How many did we graduate this year? Did we go up or down? And then sub-measurements like kiddos missing school. When a kiddo misses school or changes a school, it dramatically stunts their success in school. And so we need to keep school going because that's the long-term solution on the kiddo side. So you really have to do a lot of things around making sure kiddos don't miss school and stay in the very exact classroom no matter what crisis is going on. Mom may be a knucklehead, dad may be a knucklehead, but let's not put that on the kids.
Right. And I mentioned those numbers at the top of the show, where we had 900 and something, I'm not sure the exact number, but is that children alone? Is that like 900 something individual children? Is that children and families? How many is that exactly? And what does that mean? Are they living in their cars? Or are they just...
That's families in a family unit. So and again, these are real broad averages. Generally, it's a single mom family, but not always. We have some couples. And you have 2 or 3, on an average, 2 or 3 kiddos in that family unit. So a family unit might be 3.5. And again, a year ago, it was stunning. It's sadly stunning. One of the first nights I was here, we had 145 people living behind Walmarts and the big box stores in cars. 145 people in this, one of the most affluent counties in the world, people living in cars. It was just pathetic. And that number's down to, last time we checked it in the last 6 weeks, was down to 5 people.
Right.
And so our goal is the moment you find somebody in a car, we have a solution for you. That's a base measurement. And if we can get that to 0, so when somebody goes in crisis, we capture you right away. We engage you right away. We catch you right away. And so that's going to be one of our metrics on our measurement, is that nobody ever sleeps in a car. That to me, and I know people, this is sort of crazy, but the idea that somebody's sleeping in a car in Sarasota County, literally one of the most affluent counties in the world, United States or Florida, I just scratched my head and said, how did we let this get to that point? The good news is we're fixing that. The good news is we're fixing that in a big way.
But I'm curious, how did we get there? Because you've been around a little bit, and so how did we get to this where we have such a high rate of children in families? Is there something that you've noticed in our infrastructure that?
I was gonna let Wayne take that question.
You know, you're more than welcome to, whichever one wants to take that, but how did we get to the point in the first place where we have so many children who are going through this? I mean, I can understand for adult men, we're all knuckleheads and we're to blame for everything anyway, so that's okay. But we're talking about children, you know, how can we have it where we have gotten to the point where we've allowed this?
Yeah, and I've done no study to back my answer to this.
That's why I asked him.
I think there's many factors. It's a very complex issue that got us to this. The solution isn't necessarily complex. We can come together on a solution and make a difference, as we've already seen. How we got here is very complex in a number of factors. I mean, Robert talked earlier about the cost of an affordable living wage in here, and when a family is no longer a two-parent family and they can't afford to live here any longer, there isn't an affordable house for them. The domestic violence situations that occur. On top of it, you have, in a family situation, often the mom, generally the mom, but the parent is afraid to be, to report their homelessness in fear of removal of the children. And so they become an invisible population. And so I'm sure that most people who just listened to Robert say that we had 145 people living in the back of Walmart, if they had never heard that before, they're probably shocked this morning. Because we were complacent about not recognizing what was happening in our own community and not being coordinated on how to deal with it, So I think, and there's probably a dozen more answers as to how we got there. I think the important thing is we've recognized where we got, and our community is responding in a very collaborative way at all levels in order to address the problem. So, I'm very optimistic of where we're going.
Oh, I am too, and thank you guys both. Thank you, Dr. Margaret, for kind of showing us the way, giving us this guidance as to where we're going and how we can get out of the situation. And Wayne, thank you for carrying that torch and sticking with us and walking us through all this thinking. Do you have anything else?
I just want to thank you because you getting the message out is so important. I know, one of the things I was thinking about with family and children was the mere fact nobody knew we had a problem. And if you don't know I have a problem, so nobody's going to go start solving it. And so your leadership in getting this word out and sort of being, just a mantra on this and focused on it was part of the key to getting us started. And the cool thing is we are gonna, I think we're gonna successfully address, there's not gonna be perfect, and it will never be perfect, but we're gonna have a significant improvement that's noticeable in the next 6 to 8 months.
Oh, I certainly hope so. So thank you guys both for coming today. It's been a great episode of Economia. Thank you all for listening, and we've got Global Brew coming up with Pam in just a couple of minutes, and thank you guys very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Very welcome.